What's poppin', people? Welcome back to the Holding Gaming channel, your place for Star Wars gaming. Another ranking video today. The ranking all heroes and villains in Battlefront 2 did really well, so we're going to be ranking every reinforcement now. So this will include enforcers and infiltrators. We will not be doing aerials. That may be a separate video, but aerials are kind of boring in that they're all kind of the same in a way besides their blasters, so that's the reason. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get right to it. And we will be ranking them worst to best if you didn't know that. Coming in at number 13 in dead last, we have the Ewok. I kind of hate putting the Ewok here because he is kind of fun to play and, he's an Ewok. But the main reason is just, even though he does have aimbot, you can hold down the button and aimbot people, it just doesn't do a lot of damage in a short period of time. His damage output is just not there. His Wispies do not do much damage at all. They're really just annoying and prevent people from regenning. That's really their only danger. Also, his horn, it gives him some damage reduction. Not a great ability either, besides the fact that it sounds really cool. And then Hunter's Instinct also doesn't do damage. It just reveals people. Really just the whole reason he's here is damage output. Sure, he can be very difficult to hit because he's so small like Yoda, but the Ewok isn't really a threat. It's just kind of annoying. Not really. When you see an Ewok, you're not going to be like, oh shoot, I'm dead, It's just not going to be like that. Unless you're maybe, a normal trooper like an assault, then he might kill you. But he just doesn't really hold up to these other enforcers. Like, you can't really put an Ewok against a Death Trooper and expect the Ewok to win, That's the main thing. Yes, if you charge up his bow all the way, it can like one-shot people, but even who I like to think am pretty good at aiming in Battlefront 2, like I've gotten to a point where I can pretty much hit all headshots if I want to. I still find it really difficult to use the freaking bow. Maybe I'm just bad, that's probably it, but I cannot hit people with it unless I'm using his like aimbot ability, because unless someone's standing still, it's really hard to hit someone with the bow. Plus, it has drop and everything like that, and it just doesn't really hold up to everyone else. So that's why the Ewok is in last place at number 13. Coming in at number 12, we have the other infiltrator from the original trilogy, the ESB Agent. My main problem with the ESB Agent is the pistols. The pistols, in my opinion, are terrible. Yes, it has an alternate fire for range, which isn't bad, I guess, but just the pistols themselves fire way too slow and just don't do hardly any damage at all. The unique thing about the ESB Agent is her melee. She kind of leg kicks people really quickly, which is really cool ability. You're better off just trying to melee people than you are using her actual weapons because they're terrible. But that's really my main thing. She can be fun to play with as far as, meleeing people and kicking them, because it's kind of funny, and she does all these spins and stuff. It's like everybody was kung fu fighting, and then she just starts kicking people in the kneecaps. But that's really the only cool thing about the ESB Agent. She has one ability which heals. It heals everyone around her, gives them regen. It basically gives everyone the toughen up ability. So like Adrenaline Stem from Battlefront 1. And then she has the alternate fire for her pistols, which is good for range. It does do decent damage, but so it's probably her best ability. And then she has an ability that reveals enemies. So very similar to the Ewoks, but it reveals enemies for her teammates as well, I believe. She has okay abilities, I guess, but it's just her damage output with the pistols is not very good, and I just don't really like to play her, and that's why I put her at number 12. I kind of hate having to put two original trilogy people at the bottom, but, Battlefront 2, I guess, just was kind of done with Battlefront 2 and decided to make really garbage infiltrators for that era, so there they are. Coming in at number 11, we have the Wookiee. Now, everyone used to where the Wookiee could one-shot from range and just blow people to the sky, and it was ridiculous, and if you played the Wookiee, you were basically going to win, because it was like the equivalent of playing a hero. But that's definitely not the case anymore. The Wookiee has received multiple nerfs during the time of Battlefront 2 and is a mere shadow of its former self now. The main thing for me is unless you're right up in someone's face, the bowcaster is like shooting a pinball, like a freaking pinball at the enemy. It's just not, it's not going to do much. From close range, the Wookiee can be dangerous, not going to lie. Another thing is, used to, the Wookiee had a ton of health because of he could heal himself. But now the heal has been replaced with a ground slam. And not only does the ground slam not kill people in one shot, it only knocks them over, it doesn't even kill them. But you can't run forward with it like with Chewbacca, so it just automatically does it, and it doesn't even kill in one shot, so it's not that good. And also, without that health, the Wookiee is not near as dangerous as he once was, plus the fact that his bowcaster is not near as good. He does have a thermal imploder, which is really good. It's a very solid ability. You can get some crazy multi-kills with it. And its middle ability is pretty good. It's an overload, so it allows you just to fire without overheating. And that's a very good ability. But the only problem is its health isn't great for a reinforcement now that it can't heal. And the ground slam is not a very good ability, and the bowcaster does not do like any damage from range. So that's really my main problem with it. And also the Wookiee is an enormous target, so people aren't going to miss you. They're going to hit you because you're enormous. So that's really the main reason I put the Wookiee at number 11. And reminder, none of these reinforcements are bad. It's all about if just this reinforcement cannot stand up to this reinforcement. So I'm not saying the Wookiee is bad. Like, you can clap, you can clap normal classes as the Wookiee, but it's just not as good as, per se, the Clone Commando, you know. Now, moving on to the number 10 spot. We're getting in the top 10 now. Some decent reinforcements. We have the KFX Spy. The KFX Spy, I feel like a lot of people hate the KFX Spy pistol. I don't mind it because it does a lot of damage, even though it fires slower than my grandpa can run. But, you know, I don't think it's terrible. It has some good range on it. If you hit headshots with it, you're going to kill people in like 2 shots. It's decent. His abilities are, he has the baton, which is similar to the droid commandos, but it's not near as good in my opinion. So it's okay, but you have to hit them 3 times to kill them. Normal classes, unless they're a heavy, in which it's not going to kill them at all. Not near as good as the droid commando, in my opinion. Commando droid. His middle ability is an overload, allows him to fire his pistol rapidly, which is a very good ability. And his orbital strike. Now, the reason the orbital strike isn't as good as it would be is because you can only use it on outside maps, and that's actually kind of rare. So it can be very good, but you can only use it like 50% of the time or less, and otherwise it's pretty much useless. So the main reason I put the KFX Spy is he can't heal. His pistol is very good, but it fires really slowly, so if you miss a shot, you're dead. You have to hit all your shots for it to be good. And one of his abilities is useless 50% of the time. And also, his baton is not near as good as the Commando Droid's Vibro Sword. So that's why I put the KFX Spy at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have the Flame Trooper. Now, I personally kind of like playing the Flame Trooper. If you can just jump around, and if someone's really close, you can kill them easily because you can just jump around and not really aim. It's definitely a really good reinforcement for people that are new to the game and don't really know how to aim. It's kind of like the reinforcement that noobs can do well as, because you don't have to aim. But the main problem here, which is pretty obvious, is it has 0 range whatsoever. You know, you have to be up in someone's face to kill them. That's really the only reason it's here. It has very decent abilities. He can heal himself, so give him a lot of health. The Flame Trooper has very good health, probably one of the best in the game. Overload, which allows him to fire his, his flame gun thing, flamethrower, without overheating it. And then not a thermal imploder, it's like an incinerator explosive. So it blows up, and it won't kill you immediately, but like the ground around it will be on fire, so you'll continue to take damage. Very decent abilities, but he has no range. He does have a secondary fire, which fires like literally a fireball, but but it just doesn't really do a lot of damage, and it has no range at all. Not it don't take secondary fire like it's Aiden's secondary fire. It's not even close. Excuse me. But yeah, really the only reason Flame Trooper is here is because he has 0 range, and that's really the only reason. Alright, moving on to number 8, we have the Droideka. My biggest problem with the Droideka is that it takes 45 minutes to set up to fire. If you're rolling, it's going to take 3 years for you to get set up and then fire. That's the biggest problem. There have been times where like I will roll in with full health and be dead before I can even fire because it takes him so long to like unravel himself from rolling. That's the biggest problem. When he's not rolling, the Droideka is super slow, so that's another problem. He has a shield, which means you can fire and not take damage, which is good. So that's a decent ability. He's got Overload for his middle ability, which, not gonna lie, you can wreck kids with Overload. Also, the Droideka has splash damage, so it's really good for annoying heroes because you can just keep them from healing, because even though they're blocking your bolts, they still take damage. And then his left ability is just his ability to roll around. So really, he just has 2 abilities, really, and one of them is just the shield. So nothing too special. My main problem with the Droideka is, again, that it takes him so long to like get out from his roll, and also his blaster from range does not do much damage. It really does not do a lot of damage, period. So that's my biggest problem. He doesn't have anything to heal himself. He doesn't have any grenades or anything like that. Nothing really special at all. He has his blasters, that's it. So yeah, that's my biggest problem. He's also an enormous target. So yeah, that's my biggest problem with the Droideka. Moving on to number 7, we have the B2 Super Battle Droid. Now, I really like the B2 Super Battle Droid. His blaster, I think, is decent. I think it's pretty good. He's got his wrist rocket. Watch those wrist rockets, which I'm not gonna lie, the wrist rocket is broken. I cannot tell you how many times I have hit an assault trooper in the forehead with a rocket, and it has done nothing. Like, it's something about the wrist rocket for the droid, for the B2 Super Battle Droid. It just, like, I will hit their head with a rocket launcher, and they'll be fine. They'll be like, it's chill. Like, what? I don't think they ever, like, fixed that glitch, so 50% of the time you hit someone straight on with a wrist rocket and they don't die, but, you know, I digress. That's not really the B2 Super Battle Droid's fault, that's just DICE being lazy, but, you know. His other ability, he can heal himself, very good, gives him very, very decent health. He has a dash, like a Force hero, which is pretty cool. Very good for kind of avoiding lightsaber heroes. If they're coming for you, you can just kind of dodge away. Which is kind of cool. It doesn't really make sense that a droid can do that, because he doesn't have, like, he's not like the rocket droid that has, like, thrusters. He's got nothing. He's just, like, using the Force somehow. I'm not sure how he's done it. but yeah, his overload, I'm not gonna lie, the B2 Super Battle Droid's overload can destroy kids. I can't tell you how many times I've, like, hitting the overload and just hit headshots and just, like, annihilated, like, 7 people in, like, 7 seconds. It's crazy. I really like it. It's really decent. It's just above middle ground for me. Very, very good reinforcement. That's why I put it at number 7. I really enjoy playing the B2 Super Battle Droid, and also he looks freaking sick. So yeah. Moving on to number 6, we have the Heavies Gunner. The reason I put the Heavies Gunner this low is if you use the Heavies Gunner regularly, you are an extra virgin. Like, I'm sorry, that's not true. Well, actually, it's kind of true. The Heavies Gunner, the most toxic person you can play as in this game. He has a sentry gun as a normal weapon, because DICE had way too many cocktails before they made this. Like, you gave a sentry gun one of the most powerful abilities in Battlefront 2. Heavies just spam it because they're bad and they don't know how to aim, so they just pop out a sentry gun, kill you in 0.2 seconds because you don't need to have any skill to kill people with a sentry gun. And then you give it to this reinforcement as a normal weapon. Their default weapon is a sentry gun. What were they smoking? But anyway, has very decent health. In the loading screens, it looks like they had too much crack because they're just smiling and sitting down after they just murdered multiple people. I think they're psychopaths. Their abilities are shoulder charge, which it's decent. It doesn't kill people right away. It's not like Han Solo's shoulder charge, but it's good for getting people off you if they're close, and then you can just bully them with your overpowered sentry gun. Middle ability, overload, once again, it gives you like adrenaline stim basically, and you can fire without overloading your weapon. The Heavies gunner, if you know how to aim, you can just bully kids because it's a sentry gun. But I mean, it's got okay abilities. The reason it's this high is because of its sentry gun, and the reason it's not higher is because I hate it, in the fact that I hate people that use it regularly. So that's why I put it at number 6. It also received a nerf, so it's not as good as it was, but it's still overpowered. So there you go. Moving on to the number 5 spot, we have the Commando Droid. The reason the Commando Droid is this low is I kind of hate its blaster. I don't like the Commando Droid's blaster. It just doesn't do a lot of damage at range. Doesn't fire super fast. It's just not a great blaster. But I love the Vibro Sword. You know, I love using the Vibro Sword. You can just whack people. Shing, 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 dead, you know. Super fun to use that. Its abilities are the Vibro Sword, Smoke Grenade, and an ability that allows you to see through walls. Middle ability, very decent. Right ability, the Vibro Sword, extremely good. The Smoke Grenade's kind of pointless, but, you know, it makes you look cool. You can throw it down and run through it. Another thing that sets the Commando Droid apart is its dash. It can dash 3 times, and it can jump super high and dash super far. So you can be, like, impossible to hit, pretty much. If a lightsaber person comes at you, you can just dodge them all day long. Jump over them, dodge, 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 you know, roll. You're going to become really annoying. And you can knock lightsaber heroes over with your Vibro Sword. So you can hit them 3 times, knock them over, and then run away. And they won't be able to catch you because you're a Commando Droid and you're the fastest person in the game. But yeah, I love using the Commando Droid. The only reason it is at number 5 and not, you know, in the 2nd or 3rd spot is I just don't care for its blaster. It's like a potato launcher from range. It doesn't really do anything. Close range, it's okay, but it's just not great. So, great abilities though. Great dash and jump, stuff like that. So that's why I put him at number 5. Moving on at number 4, we have the ARC Trooper. Now, for one reason, the ARC Trooper is up this high because he looks so freaking cool. I mean, he's an ARC Trooper, dude. How could he not be in the top 5? I remember when the ARC Trooper came out, its blasters were OP. This thing melts. And not gonna lie, even after the nerfs, it still does. Like, the ARC Trooper still melts people from close range. The ARC Trooper has an alternate fire, so it can be very good from range as well, because you can snipe people with that, similar to the ESB Agent's alternate fire and the Sith Trooper's alternate fire. So you can, like, hit them with that alternate fire, and then just one hit from the pistols will kill them. So it's okay from range because of that, but I mean, not great because it's got dual pistols. It's not really to be used from range. Its abilities are, middle ability reveals enemies, so that's decent. Left ability, he throws a grenade, and when you blow it up, it knocks people over and does some damage. And then the other ability is the alternate fire, or not the alternate fire. I lied. It's another mode for his pistols that makes him fire even faster. So I personally always use the version of his pistols that fires faster. I have a clip. It might not be in this video, but I do have a clip where I had an 11-player kill streak as the ARC Trooper in like a minute, where I was just running through droids, like real people. I was just running through them, melting them like instantly with these pistols. Absolutely crazy. The only reason it's this low is it doesn't have great health and doesn't have great range, and doesn't really have fantastic abilities. That's really the only reason, but believe me, this guy's pistols melt people so quick. He looks super cool. I love using the ARC Trooper. I think a lot of people don't care for the ARC Trooper. I don't know why. I think he's super cool. but that's why he's at number 4. I would love to put him higher, but it's just his abilities and his health and his range don't stand up to these other people, and that's really the only reason. But yeah, fantastic. Love using him. Super fun to use in close range. He can be one of the best reinforcements out there. And yeah, that's why I put the ARC Trooper at the number 4 spot. Moving on to number 3, we have the Clone Commando. Clone Commando. Bum 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 bum. Lorea. I whenever the Clone Commando comes up, I think of the Clone Commando music, you know, where they're like bum 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 bum, you know, they're just super badass. The Mandalorian theme. But he's at number 3. Do people remember when the Clone Commando came out, how if he activated his middle ability that gives him reduced damage, he could literally beat a lightsaber hero when, like, if you were Kylo Ren and you were just slashing him, he wasn't even moving. He could just stand there and shoot you, and with reduced damage, not die, and he could kill you. Like, he could kill heroes in 1v1 combat close range. That's ridiculous. His middle ability is still pretty good. It has been nerfed, but it does reduce damage, which can be good, so he has very decent health. Left ability, actually better than people give it credit for. It knocks people back from that close range. That can be really good against lightsaber heroes. If they're full sending you, they can get close. As soon as they swing at you, you can knock them back and then just roast them while they're on the ground. I'm sorry, guys. I do not have coronavirus, but my throat is messy. Right ability is, it's like Barrage, but better. It fires 3 blasts of like a rocket launcher, does really good damage, and actually has pretty good range, which is really cool. So very, very good abilities in my opinion. His blaster, very good, from close and middle ranges. Doesn't have great range, but not a lot of these reinforcements have great range anyway, so that's not as big a deal. It is decent from mid-range and close ranges. Close ranges, it's very good. The Clone Commando, if you're a Clone Commando and like blast or strike, you can just dominate. He has such good health, such good abilities, stuff like that. You can destroy choke points with your anti-armor attachment. Oh, and I forgot to mention that right ability that does 3 blasts does a crazy amount of damage to vehicles. So like if a droid tank's coming at you, 3 shots will either kill it or get it super weak. If you hit it in its weak spot, like behind the driver's seat, if you will, if you hit that spot, it'll blow it up like instantly. Like it's crazy. So that's another unique thing about that. But also it's very good for clearing choke points. And yeah, you can just dominate with it and blast, and that's why I put the Clone Commando at number 3. It would have been 1, but because of the nerfs, it's lower. The nerfs that were made to it. Coming in at number 2, we have the Sith Trooper. That's right, a sequel trilogy. Something associated to the sequel trilogy actually made it in the top 3 for me. Even though I kind of hate the sequel trilogy, not gonna lie. It has enjoyable parts, but the story is just subpar. The Sith Trooper is this high because, 1, he looks super cool. Red is my favorite color, and he's literally all red, so had to give him some credit for that. Very good abilities in my opinion. He's got 1 ability that makes him super fast, which I love because I love to play super aggressive, and also gives him where if he gets shot, he'll regen right away. Love that ability. What else does he have? He has the middle ability, reveals all enemies. Like, not just in a certain, like, area. It reveals enemies literally everywhere. So, I love that, especially in Blast and stuff. So, because I can just see where all the enemies are. So, I can just constantly kill one guy and immediately go to the next guy. You know, no pause. I'm just going after him. Which can be really good for getting super high kill games in Blast and Strike and stuff like that. Really good ability. Also, his other ability is his alternate fire. So he has an alternate fire, arguably the best alternate fire out of all of the reinforcements. You can just fire at someone from range and then hit 1 shot with your rifle and they're dead. So this is one of the reinforcements that actually has really good range. So I really like that. He's lethal from close ranges because his rifle fires so quickly and does really good damage. And also lethal from middle and long ranges because of that alternate fire, which is really good. And then you just need to hit one shot with his rifle and they're dead. Also, he has... I can't say this with a straight face. He has a grenade. It's called the Oppression Grenade. Anyone who watches Zanny, you see them talk about the Oppression Grenade. It's rather interesting. But yeah, does good damage. Does decent damage. You probably won't get the kill with it most of the time unless someone is low. But the unique thing about it is it keeps people from regenning. So after they're hit with that grenade, they cannot regen. So you can just push them and not have to worry about them regenning. And also you can really annoy heroes because heroes need to regen the most because they're probably going to take the most damage. But yeah, that's why he's this high. Super good abilities, arguably the best abilities out of the reinforcements. Decent health, he has okay health, but the main thing is he's lethal from all ranges. And he has those great abilities, and he looks super cool. So that's why the Sith Trooper's at number 2. Now, in my opinion, okay, not saying he is the best, but in my opinion, I think he's the best. At number 1, we have the Death Trooper. The Death Trooper is here. Fantastic range. His blaster sounds incredible. It's his blaster from Rogue One. The Death Troopers, they're huge. Their armor is sick. They look so cool. And also sound super cool with their, they're like, and they're just like hitting every shot. He has probably the best health in the game because he can heal himself with his right ability, so it can make him be able to take so much damage. His middle ability and overload makes his blaster literally melt kids instantly, and then his left ability is his sonic imploder, which looks really cool and kills people instantly. So really good abilities, insane amount of health, good from all ranges. He can melt people from long range, melt people from close range. You can no-scope with his blaster and destroy people. It's just really, the reason he's this high is literally one Death Trooper can dominate an entire game of Blast. Like, one Death Trooper can just, like, win the game for his team in Blast. That's how much he can carry if you're just somewhat good. So, yeah, the Death Trooper's at number 1. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought of the video. Let me know your rankings of all the reinforcements. I would love to know. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you like Star Wars gaming, make sure to sub. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure to like the video so that other people can see this too. If you're coming from Reddit, make sure to look up Holden Gaming in YouTube and find my channel if you want to see more content like this, because I know on Reddit you can't really subscribe the way it works with the link and everything. But yeah, the only reason I say that is my last video got over 100 upvotes on Reddit, which was, I was like, oh wow, that's weird. But yeah, I'm trying to switch up the content, do some different stuff. Every other day I'm doing normal gameplay, and then the other days I'm doing kind of a unique video like this, and those videos have been doing really well. Trying to spice up the content a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.